Boy, oh boy, do I have good news for you. Because one of the things that we've been talking about a lot is Kaizer Chiefs needs to have a checklist of what kind of coach do they want. And not just in terms of we want Pizzo, but what do we actually want from Pizzo? We want Napi, but what do we actually want from Napi? Because this is one of the reasons why Kaizer Chiefs has been struggling with their coaches, because it's always seemed like it's just finder. But now this article by Far Post reveals the things that Kaizer Chiefs internally are discussing with regards to what they are expecting from the new coach. And it's three things. And I made a video which when I find I will pin up here, where I made a short list and what I would want to see from the next Kaizer Chiefs coach. And guess what? Some of the things that I said are also here. Starting with number one, the proven track record of success. How many times have we said this? One of the first things that I complained about when Chiefs appointed Umlifi was, what has he won? What has he done that we know of? Because if you are moving or we're moving from Zwane to Mlifi, both of them had not won anything. So what was the improvement? So knowing now that they are discussing internally that they want someone who has won something makes my heart go, okay, I am filled with relief, because at the very least, it seems like the club have learned, sort of. One can only hope, because they are also talking about someone who has continental ambitions. Remember what Gavin Hunt said when after that, one of the reasons why Chiefs let him go is because he wanted to win the Star, but Bonade were busy telling him focus on the league, and he wasn't doing so great in the league because mentally I think his mind was trying to win the Star, but Bona they wanted him to focus on the league, and there was that clash because he wanted to do this, they wanted him to do that. They ended up firing him. I'm not saying that's the only reason, but it's one of the things. But to see that the club themselves now want to have someone who has continental ambitions makes me think, okay, so that's two for two. One, they hired Uzwane, Nonsegi, and they realized with these two coaches had not won anything, and that affected how they performed. Because it's another thing about someone who has a proven track record. You look at Real Madrid. Sometimes Real Madrid does not win because they were good on the game. They just win because they know how to. They know how to dig deep, and even when they have a bad performance, they will still win the game because they know how to win. And if you are bringing in a coach who knows how to win, what you are essentially also doing is you are making the players look at him and say, well, he has won everywhere he's been, so he probably knows what he's talking about. But when Unsegi fails to communicate the tactics clearly, they're like, Vele, this man has not won anything, so what is he going to tell us anyway? So I think that's a very good criteria for the next coach. And number two is modern football philosophy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'll just go back to Gavin Hunt here. And I know some people are protective of him. And I don't think he's a bad coach. I just don't prefer his style of play. And one of the things that he said a year ago, I think was on Super Sport or SAPC, I don't know which one. And then he said, I don't understand the obsession with playing out from the back. I was like, what is this, Mr. Hunt? With all due respect, what do you mean you don't understand the obsession with playing out from the back? Because it obviously creates space further up the field. Everyone is supposed to know this who's in football. So I'm like, yabona ukuthi the man is still on his own way of playing, but he plays one way and is not gonna change. And this is not to attack him, but it's to say football has evolved and there are now new ways of playing football. Football has evolved beyond Abo Stuart Baxter, because Abo Baxter, they were still coming back with Ama tactics from 2014 in 2021, which did not work. So when you have coaches who are still holding on to the mentality of yesteryear, what ends up happening is that the team is always backward thinking, and the things that used to work back in the day are no longer working. Back in the day, you knew if you have a speedy player passing the ball, run at the ball, and then you will maybe find a 1v1 with the keeper. But now teams are much more organized. Now the goalkeepers don't stay in their goal line. So when you play the ball over that defense, the keeper comes out, he kicks the ball away. Now all your speed has no effect. Now Abo Kevin Johnson are just showing us right now, Guti, if you do not know how to counter teams that are playing in modern football, you are going to be in trouble. They also talk about high intensity, position based football. Have you watched Kaizer Chiefs and found yourself doing this? Hey guys, this is boring. Have you watched and thought of that? Exactly. It happens a lot because there's no intensity in our football. And we're Kaizer Chiefs. We should be like getting behind the players because we can see now but they are showing hunger in how they are pressing, they are showing hunger in how they are playing the game. But you just watch our team and you're like, nothing is happening here. Nothing is happening here at all. It's just boring. We're sitting deep. And Lapo, we're not even playing a team that's that good. We're playing a team that is like 10 positions below us. Well, now we're number 8. So now we're playing teams that are maybe 4 positions below us or worse, playing Milford, and we are not showing any intensity. And that just tells you that there are a lot of problems that we have. And also, our position-based football. I hope when they say position-based football, it's not this obsession that they are doing right now of saying it's position-based football, but you're just keeping the ball in our half. Because obviously, when you're talking about position-based football, I'm also expecting the team to create way more chances and not to just try at every chance that you get to kick the ball forward. Because essentially, what ends up happening, you are losing the ball, you are giving the other team a chance to attack you. And this is the other thing that's important. How many times did you complain under Ntsegi, even under Zwane, Ntsegi, Zwane, Johnson about innovation and adaptability? You see a man like Uzwane, I respected him a lot and I still do respect him, but past is the past. But one of the problems that he had, he took too long to make subs. Ntsegi, same thing. Johnson, same thing. And the thing that all these three coaches have been accused of is not having a plan B because their first plan doesn't work. Now innovate, come up with something new to kind of counteract or kind of neutralize the plan that the opposition came with. Did we see this any of that? Not really, we didn't. So we need a coach who's also going to be able to think on his feet. It's a match. The match is going on. Things are not going according to plan. What are we going to do? Well, maybe let's change the system. But at Chiefs, it doesn't matter. The score could be 2-0. You are losing against Cheaper. The score could be 1-0. You are losing against Stellenbosch. It's the 70th minute. We're never going to change the formation. We're never going to change our attacking patterns. It's always the same thing. We're kicking the ball forward. But now, if you are going to have someone who can think while they're on that bench, you are going to see a lot of things. Number 3, strong leadership and character. Yabona lapho ngiyavuma ngithi yebo, because this is the thing that we've been saying a lot, that there are a lot of egos, players who are here at Kaizer Chiefs. And very if you're at Kaizer Chiefs, you see yourself as here. I mean, you're playing for the biggest team in South Africa, and now you are there, and then this coach is coming in, they are not playing you. If you have a bad attitude, you are going to say, this one sucks, because you know what your contract says. But if it's a big team coach, you are not only going to respect him because he coaches Kaizer Chiefs, but also the character, his character when he comes into the room. There are people like that. He just walks in and you just feel like, yes, yes. Kano Johnson, with all due respect, they look like pushovers. Abonseg, they just look like pushovers. It's like you can do anything. Listen, it's okay. Or Johnson, they'll just make grandpa jokes. But if you have someone ozongena lapha angawuthatha udoti, kuzoba yinto rightly. And what they did with Ukune, it's showing ukuthi now they are getting to that point where there's not going to be big players who are just going to do whatever they want, which is obviously good. Now we need a coach who's going to come with that mentality. Ongeke ancenge abadlali, ozobe eyindoda lapha e-dressing room, ongeke ezwe ngalabadlali bekhuluma ukuthanda kwabo. And indaba ye-robust personality vele, it goes with this. And it is disciplinarian, obviously, like someone ozoba strict, instill discipline. Akunamkhabala kunamdlalo ozoba nomkhabala wenzani wena. And also integrating youth players, which I think is why they actually got to Johnson, because they were hoping that Johnson would do that because he has history with young players, and they were hoping that him coming to Chiefs, he would do exactly that. Did he do exactly that? he did not, and they lost him. But I'm glad and I hope that these things are really going to be really considered with the next coach, and it's not just going to be who's the cheapest, who's available, who can we push over. But if it's a coach like this and they let him do his job with his own technical team, Chiefs will be unstoppable in a year or two, hopefully in a year. But do you agree with these outlines that Kaizer Chiefs has set for the coaches, and what else would you want to see on the next Kaizer Chiefs coach? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Alpelumo.